Reasons why I cashed in my black card a long motherfucking time ago. Every time you're trying to do something good, it seems like the people closest to you or the people that are akin to your ethnicity are always trying to throw salt in the fucking game just because they lack information or education on stuff. When you eat healthy, when you exercise, when you get your mindset together, people always take that shit personal as though you leaving them behind, except for they're not understanding that they got their own mind, heart, body, and soul to make their own fucking choices. They get mad at you when they're not able to dictate your choices or your mindset, and they just start going crazy as though there is some type of law here that says that you can control another person. And then on top of that, they try to force you to enable them to continue to be of poverty. A lot of people don't know that poverty is a mindset. It's not about your outer appearance or your materials. When you start doing better for yourself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, you start evolving from the inside out. You know, people love to project their own insecurities on people just because they don't want to see them do good. And if you don't recognize that shit, you can get sucked right back into that tunnel of darkness and forget who you are and what the fuck you got going on in the first place. You know, it's not enough educated black people that care about their mind, heart, body, and soul. They always want to project shit onto other people. You know, you start wanting to do good for yourself, they swear you just against everybody. And maybe you might be against everybody. You might be against them outdated systems. You might be against those traditions. You might be against the drama and the lack that people love to swallow up and defend for themselves. You might be against the honor that people hold from their own suffering that they claim helped them become who they are today, knowing that they're fucking miserable and hate themselves. And you have the right to be against outdated norms. Because when you are evolving from the inside out, it is not your job to allow for the shit on the outside of you to become entangled into your evolution anyways, because it's not going to do nothing but create obstacles and stagnation. So what the fuck is wrong with making your own choices as a person? You know, you want to start eating better for yourself. Now everybody want to claim that you're getting food stamps, and that's the only reason why you cooking at home now. You know, you want to get up every day and start exercising. People claim you acting funny and they start want to body shame you just because they don't feel good about themselves and their self-esteem is low. You start getting a little bit more sunshine, reading books, changing the type of music you listen to. Now all of a sudden they saying that you're trying to be something that you're not just because they really don't know you for real. Everything is vibrational, mental, emotional, and all that. And people just be throwing out all types of weird shit. You know, you start dressing better so that you can up your self-esteem and the way that you see your image. People just motherfucking swear that it got something to do with tax time money, or they swear it got something to do with you trying to be something that you're not, or you trying to compete and keep up with the Joneses and all this. And you start thinking about the totality of the quality of your life, period, and people just start throwing their own darkness on you. Half these motherfuckers around here was raised up on government assistance anyways because your families come from fucking poverty that was racially impeded on them. So what the fuck really is wrong with using your resources to elevate in life? You know what I'm saying? Because all the shit that people was used to is not that it's easier for them. It's just that it is their norm. But they're not understanding that them outdated ass cycles is what's keeping them in poverty in the first motherfucking place. Poverty is a motherfucking mindset. Okay? Poverty is the ability to be miseducated. Poverty is the ability to keep yourself in the dark about who you are and what your higher self really calls for you to align into. Poverty don't have nothing to do with money or the clothes that somebody wearing on their back or the way that they look on the outside. Poverty is about motherfucking mindset. People don't support you because they too busy trying to support the shit that allows for them to feed their ego. So you ain't gonna never get no support from somebody that's closest to you. You always gonna get support from some type of stranger or somebody on the outside of your world that don't really know you personally enough to try to take your existence as an ego injury in the first fucking place. All these people who walk around with this poverty mindset, they get mad when somebody trying to elevate, and so they sit up there and try to make it their job to stagnate somebody else in life just because they feel entitled to somebody else's elevation. How the fuck do you feel entitled to somebody else's hard work and you're not even trying to get to know yourself? Don't get upset when you see somebody working on themselves. You never know what the fuck they got going on in life. You don't know what their reason is, and you don't even know why it is that they feel so deserving to give themselves a better quality of life. You deserve to give yourself a better quality of life too if you stop focusing on outer validation. can't get mad at somebody because they thrive on their own. It don't matter what you try to do to somebody that is just determined to allow for themselves to be better for themselves. You can sit up there and try to scapegoat them. You can gossip about them. You can gang up on them, all that. And guess what the fuck all that shit proves about you? That you lack knowledge of self. You can't get mad at somebody for knowing who the fuck they are. You can't get mad at somebody for having their own morals, standards, and boundaries. And you definitely can't get mad because somebody don't want to enable the bullshit that keeps everybody in a fucking lower vibration and keeps you in poverty. You want to keep some motherfucking money in your pocket? Think before you act. Understand that money is your energy. Understand that money is your mindset. It ain't about keeping everything. It's about letting things go so you are allowed to open up to new opportunities. The more you hold on to shit that don't serve you, the more you are stagnating yourself. And why would you be upset at yourself for wanting to elevate, let alone being mad at the next motherfucker for holding themselves accountable for elevating too? Really? Because a lot of people still walk around with childhood trauma because their parents made them feel bad for being here just because their parents were not ready to bring them here. Because a lot of people are in denial that they were conceived through trauma and fantasy, not love, not quality, not richness. You were conceived through trauma, which put you in poverty as well. Because a motherfucker that's operating in trauma cannot function for real, for real. But that's all stuff that people be in denial about when it comes to their own interpersonal existence. But you cannot project that on nobody else. When you don't know anything about yourself, you will swear up and down that what the next person is doing to better themselves offends you. Like that shit where black people always want to call somebody white just because they doing something that they ain't never done before in their own motherfucking culture. You don't know that back in the motherfucking slavery times that black people was so motherfucking smart they already had their own shit together? So you think they couldn't build, read, or create stuff just because they either didn't speak the language of English or because you were not akin to their traditions, that they were just incompetent, huh? You didn't know that most of the shit that be going on now already existed back then when? And guess who motherfucking invented the shit? So when it comes to bettering yourself, y'all gotta stop using racism and upbringing and poverty mindset into the equation as an excuse to be a poorly educated human being. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of motherfuckers out here suffering and they passing it down as competition. They passing it down as hate. They passing it down as greed. They passing it down as envy, jealousy, gossip, slander, smear campaigns, narcissism, psychological problems, but they disguising it so motherfucking well so that when you see somebody that do got their shit together and they are very self-aware, you think the person that ain't finna put up with the shit is the one that has all the disabilities and disadvantages, right? Because in life, it ain't even about how you was raised. It's about what you decide to do with the information, the experiences, and the self-knowledge that you have to create the type of quality of life that you desire. It ain't enough educated black people out here for me.